Hey guys, this is Rob Cole with the Cole Group at Next Mortgage. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today is homeownership via renters. And what I mean by that is majority of first-time home buyers, I'm assuming, are renting. And majority of people that are renting really have this thought that maybe it's impossible to buy a home, cannot come up with the down payment, because 80% of the individuals that don't buy homes is because they can't come up with a down payment. But there's a 20% down payment is really if someone told them that that's what they should be coming in with. There's other ways of doing so. But without changing our mentality towards actually making homeownership a possibility, it'll be very tough to be motivated enough to want to do that. So what I want to talk about today is not how can it be done, but why it should be done. And that's really the number one focus for that motivation to happen, or for that clear understanding of why home ownership is very, very important in today's market. So, for example, the number one thing we have to do, we have to divorce the rent. We have to stop paying someone else's mortgage. We have to stop thinking about how someone else's dream is being fulfilled by my continuing to have the same approach towards home ownership by buying a home. Or excuse me, by continuing to rent a condo, an apartment, a home, which really doesn't benefit you in any way. So I'm going to show you by the numbers how owning a home should be a priority to you, especially in today's environment, as it gets tougher and tougher when it comes to affordability and values and rents continue to increase, which that will never stop as a whole. So divorcing the rent is the number one priority. So let me show you why. So imagine buying in this market, at least in Southern California, buying a $750,000 home versus continuing to rent for the next 10 years. In this perspective, what you're looking at here is there's 360,000, of equity that you weren't able to take advantage of in the past 10 years, or if you continue for the next 10 years to continue to rent. And that is at a 4% appreciation rate, which is very typical in our environment that we're in today. Now, you also missed out on almost $105,000 worth of amortization gain, meaning that you reduce the balance of that loan that you actually received to purchase that home. And your overall net worth, which is the overall net of buying a home, you subtract at what point do you start to make money? Because you guys got to think about buying a home is not necessarily just shelter, but it actually is an investment for your future and your wealth. So at what point does that start to become a positive? Because when you first purchase a home, the mortgage more than likely will be higher than the rents. But one thing you got to remember, once you have a rate locked into a property and you get a loan, that rate stays the way it is. It doesn't change. But we know that rents will continue to increase, and this is where the numbers start to shift in regards to what the benefits are financially. And also, one of the things you also got to think about, there's tax benefits behind being a homeowner, which is very important for us to think about. So overall, your second year is when you're going to start really gaining traction in regards to increasing the net gain over renting a home for the next 10 years. Now, what is your net worth over a 10-year period? If you continue to rent, zero, but you make someone else's net worth a lot higher. So put yourself being the person that made that. If you look at the secondary column, put yourself as being the person that created $530,000 for someone else's property because you decided to continue to rent that particular property. That's net worth that you missed out on, especially knowing how to strategize and how to make this particular scenario happen for you and your family. Now, in general, we have to date the rate. One of the biggest considerations and concerns that people have in today's environment is the interest rates are higher than they were, let's say, 2 years ago. You got to remember, rates are temporary. At some point, they will come down, but it doesn't mean that you just assume any rate that you want or you're comfortable with any rate. But there is strategies behind there. And below, you will see 3 different presentations. One is divorcing the rent, which is called a total cost analysis. The other one is dating the rate. And the third one is actually marrying the house. There's strategies to get you to that point, but you got to remember the rates are temporarily. Okay. And these are the scenarios for such circumstances and how we can make that happen. And like, as I mentioned, I know there's a lot to read there, but if you click on those presentations below, it will give you full explanation of what I mean by that in regards to dating the rate. Now, the goal is actually marrying the house. The biggest obstacle for homeowners right now is not necessarily getting the loan. The biggest obstacles for all borrowers right now is actually getting to find a home and getting an offer accepted. Rates will continue to increase and decrease. When they decrease, and that's when everyone's excited to want to get back into the market, what you got to remember, everyone's exciting with you, meaning that there's more competition that you're going to have to deal with in home ownership. So we will never have enough properties compared to having less properties for the number of buyers that we have. As we continue to adjust in this environment, one thing that will not happen or adjust is the increase of more properties for sale compared to the buyers that are interested in buying. And that's where the competition will increase as the rates continue to decline. But in general, as I mentioned, there is 3 presentations for you to review, and I would love for you to click on them, and I will go through each one of the steps of divorcing the rent, dating the rate, and marrying the house to get you into home ownership. But if you want a specific scenario, specific for you and your situation, please do not hesitate to reach out, call me, text me, email me. And I would love to sit down and have a conversation with you and walk you or your buyer through the process and what that would look like in planning home ownership. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye-bye.